Over the past few years, we have seen more and more headlines come out about the countless buyers on the sidelines, waiting for the perfect opportunity to buy a home. Today, we are getting into the most important factors influencing home buyers in this market, based on insights from a recent Maxwell report, which surveyed 1,000 prospective buyers who've been stuck, waiting for the right moment to jump back into the market. And if you are one of those sideline buyers, this episode is for you. And sellers, listen up too, because if you're thinking of selling right now, it's a good strategy to know what is going on in the mind of your buyer. So let's first talk about why so many potential buyers have been stuck on the sidelines. Well, according to the Maxwell survey, high interest rates have been the number one obstacle. We're talking about rates above 7%, a level that's kept more than half of buyers searching for over a year, with nearly 18% looking for more than 2 years. Now, for comparison, the average time to find a home is about 4.5 months, excluding the lending process. So if you have felt like you're spending forever house hunting, you're not alone. It's a nationwide challenge, and it's not just the rates. Many homes that are available either don't meet buyers' needs or are simply out of their price range. Half of the survey respondents mentioned that the lack of inventory is a significant barrier. Now, this was an interesting stat that came up, this idea of a lack of inventory, because we've been hearing about this a lot, but my actual experience in the market has been very different. And yes, I know the real estate market is made up of a bunch of micro markets, each with their own unique supply and demand economics. However, I work in a lot of micro markets, and in almost all of these micro markets, I'm seeing there's actually a really decent level of supply. So of course, this makes me want to go to the data. What do the numbers actually show? There are two ways people are looking at this supply metric. The first way, and the way a lot of the shocking headlines you're reading about are looking at supply, is based on the active listing count in the US. If you look at that number in isolation, then yes, it would appear that historically our supply is down. You could look at this and say, oh my goodness, our supply is down 36% from the peak of this chart from the St. Louis Fed that goes back to July of 2016. But then you could also look at this chart and say we have high inventory because we are now above the supply level of February 2020, which is right before everything shifted with the pandemic. But I would rather look at this number in the context of matching it to the current demand. And the best way I know to go about doing that is to look at the month's supply of inventory. Month supply shows us how much inventory is available relative to how quickly it's getting sold. Right now, at the recording of this video, and based on the most recent data available from the St. Louis Fed for September of 2024, on a national scale, we have 4.3 months of supply. And when we take a look at the history of existing home sales months of supply, we actually see that we currently have a good level of supply. So while the news headlines would have you think otherwise, I really don't think supply is the issue, and that's the problem. Buyers are being told if they wait, they'll have more options. And when it comes to buying, what's likely the largest investment of your life, you probably like the idea of options, right? So of course you're going to wait and wait for something that probably won't happen. And I think the real issue at hand is shown in another data point for this report. And that is that 47% of sideline home buyers say the homes they like, they can't afford. Essentially, they don't like what they can get for the money. Oof. This one is a tough one, and I get it. I've been there before. I know that line so well, that if I'm going to spend this kind of money, I'm going to get exactly what I want. I've said that about my own home buying process. I've said it when drawing up plans to remodel my home. And then that sobering price tag to get exactly what I want has me dig really deep and reevaluate what's truly important. And if that's you, would you be open-minded to the idea of another perspective? Napoleon Hill, best known for his book Think and Grow Rich, says, "Do not wait. The time will never be just right. Start where you stand and work whatever tools you may have at your command, and better tools will be found as you go along." So I'll frame this around the idea of real estate and look at equity as the tool in this example. Don't let the pursuit of perfection paralyze you from forward progress. Sometimes the best opportunities are found in the unexpected places, and waiting for the ideal situation can cause you to miss out on a good one. You don't have to start with a mansion. In fact, you probably shouldn't. The important thing is to get get started today to lay the foundation for your future by building your own equity now. In time, your equity you're establishing now will grow, and then you can leverage this tool of equity to get you into a better home over time. And then you leverage that equity to get you into a better home. And over time, you see how this process spirals up. And I know you want to buy. In fact, over 77% of the Sidelined home buyers surveyed said they feel somewhat or very prepared to buy as soon as the right conditions emerge. Now, here's what's especially interesting. Most buyers, about 70%, say they're waiting for interest rates to hit 5.5 or lower before they act. Now, question for you. Do you want to be in the market to buy a home when there's 70% more competition for the homes that are there right now? Because here's what we know. Home prices have gone up after 7 of the last 8 elections, regardless of which party makes it into the office. And the time they did go down, well, that was in 2009. That was also known as the housing market crash. So back to that question I asked before. What is the future cost of your current decision? There's one aspect that's the pure financial cost of waiting. You're just that much further away from starting to build that equity tool up. But then there's also the personal cost. 31% of people have delayed plans to have children or expand their family. 35% have moved in with relatives to save for a payment. And almost 50% have considered moving cities or even states to afford something. What if you could move forward with your life plans in spite of what you're hearing in the news? And the best way to find out is to reach out to us so we can get you connected with a trusted lender who will shoot you straight and give you a clear path to home ownership and the actual steps you need to take to get there. I cannot tell you how many people have been surprised to find out how close they are to home ownership. Now, keep in mind, this video is general commentary about the market. Like I said, there are micro markets and they all have unique economic forces at play. And I also want to be sensitive to the fact that your situation is unique. The time you decide to buy or sell is very personal and likely involves many factors. The point of this video is that I want to pull you away from just getting your real estate news from the headlines and making your life-changing decisions based off of those. You should really understand the numbers behind the headlines and put those up against your unique situation. So if you want a professional consultation on buying or selling a home, let's talk. In this consultation, we'll discuss your goals, your timeline, and your circumstances, along with market specifics to help you determine your next real estate steps. Just visit letstalk.thecrestedgegroup.com or click on the link in this episode description. Well, thanks for watching this video and be sure to check out another one. Bye.